In this lecture, we'll work on the stylings of to-do items. So as you can see, instead of our container we created in last lecture, we'll provide more containers, and each container will contain to-do item. So for example, here is a to-do with the title, walk the dog, and a description, go to forest near the zoo. So guys, on this will work in this lecture, we'll provide HTML and stylings. See you there. Hey guys, welcome here. In this lecture, we created this nice gray container in middle of our screens. In this lecture, we'll continue and we'll create small containers for our to-do items. Let's start. Open your coding editors. And again, we'll start by writing some HTML. So let's see our to-do container. I will specify here a new div. Alright, so new div. And this will have a class, let's say, to-do list. Okay, so class here, this will be to-do-list. Alright, instead of a to-do list, I will specify to-do items. So another div, alright, and this will be class, let's say, to-do item, and no worries, we'll inspect each of these elements. So to-do item. Alright, then I will create a div, another div, and this will be to-do item container. So class will be here. Class will be to-do-item-container. Instead of this div will be another div. Alright, so many divs. Alright, so this div will be to-do-item, let's say, content title. And actually, let's remove this one, to-do-item, not container, but let's say to-do-item content. This will be better name. Alright, so this div instead of a to-do-item content will be called to-do-item-content-title, and here will be title of our to-do. So let's say walk the dog. Alright, and after this div we will create a new div, and here will be class, let's say this will be to-do item content description. So class here and to-do-item-content description, and let's say go to forest. Alright, go to forest near the zoo. Alright, doesn't really matter what we are writing here. And now let's copy this to-do item. So here this div starting with this class to-do item until this div here. Alright, so let's copy this, like, okay, so select our to-do item, copy it, and under it let's paste it 2 more times. And then now let's change this title here for, let's say, buy bread. Okay, so buy bread. And let's say here description of whole grain bread would be good. So whole grain bread would be good. Alright, and let's say the third to-do will be learn programming. Tomorrow would be best. Okay, the description, tomorrow would be best. Alright, let's save this now. Let's go back to our browsers. Okay, now you can see all of these nodes are here. So all the to-dos with the title and a description. You can also inspect this and you will see all of this structure here. So when I'll click here, I will inspect. Alright, so let's see. You can see here to-do list is wrapping all of our to-dos. To-do item is wrapping only our to-do title and a description. To-do item content is wrapping our to-do content. So again, our title and a description. Our to-do title, this div here, only wrapping our content here, so our text. And to-do description is wrapping here just our description. As I told you, div by default is taking 100% of a container element. Okay, you can see it's taking 100%, this blue part. And also it's adjusting its height to elements inside. So you can see our walk the dog has some size of the fonts, and our div is wrapping around this text. Alright, so let's continue and let's provide some stylings to these elements. Let's go back to our coding editors. And first let's specify here stylings for our to-do containers. So let's say down here, maybe we can improve our styles of a to-do container. Maybe we can tell here border radius. I will explain what is a border radius. So border-radius, let's say it will be 5 pixels, or maybe we can increase it to 10, up to you. Alright, so it's 5 pixels. Let's save it. Let's go back to our browsers. And now you can see borders of this div are a little bit, they're not so sharp. So let's see container. When I will specify here border radius and I will increase it, so I can select this and I can just hold up arrow, you can see how I am changing the shape of this. Okay, so border radius, it's changing the shape of the corners, it's increasing, it's giving more pixels to this. Okay, and in the end it will become a circle. Alright, so there's a border radius. Let's go back. Let's tell our to-do item. So I'll create here to-do item. So dot to-do-item, and let's provide here some stylings. First I will write them, and then we'll talk about them. So I'll write here background color. So background-color, and let's say this will be gray color. All right, and let's say height of this item. So height will be, we can give it 70 pixels. Okay, so 70 pixels. Let's say margin will be 10 pixels. Let's say padding will be 10 pixels. Let's say color of the fonts will be white inside of this container. Border radius, so border radius will be again 5 pixels. Let's say font size will increase font size. Font size can be 23 pixels. All right, and now we can play with the to-do item content title. So I'll write here new class, and let's get here to-do item content title, and I will say here font size, or let's increase here font weight in this one. Font weight will be bold. All right, so this will be a little bit bigger font size. All right, and then change the description. So let's access here our to-do item content description, and this will be font size. Let's say this will be 19 pixels. Let's save this. Let's go back to our browsers, and now let's see. Okay, I think this is much better. You can see a few stylings and it looks so much better. So let's inspect this. So let's inspect to-do item, and here we applied some stylings. So first let's start with the height. Okay, height is pretty obvious. We are styling this div element to 70 pixel height. And you can also see this picture on the right side in the bottom corner. You can see here when I will hover over, I can see the height of my element is 70 pixels, what I specified, and my width is 288 pixels. This is my height. Alright, then we have a margin. Margin, when you hover over margin, you can see this orange part here. This is a margin. So this is the outer part of your element here. So you can see this orange part. I'm increasing margin of this. When I will increase it even more, you can see how I am creating this even larger. Okay. Now let's hover over, and you can see now margin is 40 pixels. Okay, so this is outer part of my element. So this is creating margin on the outside of my div container. You can see it on a picture. When this is your element, this blue part, then the margin is this orange part here. Okay, so let's increase it to 10 pixels. All right, and a padding. So padding is actually kind of similar, but padding is the inner part. Okay, so there is a content inside of your element. So you can see when your element is here, this blue part, padding is this green part. So there is everything inside of this green part is a padding. So you're increasing the spacing inside of your element. When I'm increasing padding, I'm increasing the spacing inside of my element. You can see I'm increasing padding. Is the inner part of my div. Margin is outside part of my div, relative to every element outside of my div element, but my padding is inside of this div element. Let's refresh this. So we'll refresh these stylings. All right, and let's see. So there's a margin padding. You can see it nicely here. Margin is this outside part, comparing to outside to our wrapping elements here. So you can see how when I'm increasing margin, I'm increasing margin in between my div element and the element that's wrapping my item. This padding, I'm increasing this spacing inside of my div itself. Then you have a color, of course, is a color of your fonts inside. Border radius, the same. These are these edges. Font size, you understand. Font size is just a font size. And you can see here, my text here is a little bit longer and it's going outside of my div because I specified here fixed width of 70 pixels. Let's see what will happen when I will specify here min height. So height of this element can be 70 pixels and higher, but minimum needs to be 70 pixels. So min height, like this. Now you can see, now height is a minimum 70 pixels as in these elements first and a third element. But if my content is a little bit longer, then it will automatically increase the height of this div container. So let's change it. Let's go back to our coding editors. And let's change this height here. So let's change it from a height to a min height of 70 pixels. Like this. Let's save this. Let's go back to our browsers. Now it should be good. All right. Also, we were talking about bold, right? So let's see. And our text is actually not bolded, so we are not applying this style. So to-do item -content -title should be font weight bold. When you will apply it here, you can apply to element style font weight bold. You will see now this text is a little bit bolded, right? So it's a little bit wider. But we are not applying it because we have probably some typo in our code. So let's go back to our coding editors. And let's find here. So to-do item content title, I will find it. So let's copy this. Okay, so probably we are providing wrong class up here. So let's see to-do item content. So oh, okay, I see the issue. Here is the issue. It should be to-do. I have to-do. So to-do like this. And here should be also to-do. All right, let's save this. Let's go back to our browsers. Okay, now it's better. Now you can see I'm applying bold. Here, font weight bold to my title, and to my description I'm decreasing font size to 19 pixels. Alright guys, so this is a little bit more about stylings and HTML. In next lecture I'll continue. I will show you SCSS styling. So what you seeing right now, we are using CSS styling, but I will show you SCSS. And after I will start working with some data. So we will create a list of these to-do items and we will iterate them inside of our template. So guys, that's it for this lecture. And I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.